Welcome to ForeverFit.tv, your online source for fitness, nutrition and lifestyle. With your host, Nicola Riley, personal trainer, nutrition and lifestyle coach, here to help you get in the best shape of your life.
Hey, welcome along to today's episode. I have just filmed an awesome workout this morning. It is a new HIIT workout that is for the new phase of training because everyone has just finished an absolutely incredible boot camp, and so to carry on with all of this fitness, because boot camp was 5 weeks, and with any fitness it takes like 4 weeks for you to start to feel changes in your body. So over 4 weeks of training, you'll start to feel your body gets a bit tighter and more toned, and then what happens in another 4 weeks, your body starts to make some even bigger changes, and this is where you're going to start to notice your clothes are fitting differently. And then when you hit like about 12 weeks, this is when other people start to notice changes in your body. So when you start on your health and fitness journey, it takes time, and so within 5 weeks you can get some incredible changes happening in your body, and this is why I did it in 5 weeks. But it's also important to know that even if you haven't noticed a massive change, you're on that journey. And so what I've got for all the boot campers now is a week's recovery, because it's really important to allow yourself to catch up, so to rejuvenate, to refresh, to recover, to re-motivate, and then we're going to hit another 5-week phase of training. And it's really important to know that when you take 7 days off, it's not going to do anything to your fitness. Nothing's going to change, because you're going to continue to eat really nourishing, beautiful food, and then you'll be ready, and everything will be all set for you to start a new phase. And so this next phase of training is going to take everything up to another level. So not being left alone, got the perfect program to carry on with after boot camp, and the boot camp will always be in the online gym for people to do at any stage, or there's also beginners programs in there for anyone who wants to start out and get things started. We had our final fitness testing on Saturday, and it was absolutely incredible how well people did. My goodness, people with a 200% improvement in their scores, their fitness testing. We had a whole lot of different prizes to give out for different improvements over most improved fitness, most improved strength, most improved overall. We had the longest prone hold, the best wall sit, the strongest press ups, people who lost the most amount of millimeters. We had all these different categories for people to win prizes, and yeah, just so very, very cool how well everybody did, and from all over the world, just getting such fantastic results. And we've just sent out a survey to get people's feedback, and it's wicked just knowing that you guys loved the boot camp. So we're going to be doing another one in a couple of months, and this will be just as good, better, taking on your feedback and just making an even more awesome boot camp. But in the meantime, you have got your programs to follow on with, so you're not losing all this awesome fitness that you've gained, and you're just going to keep taking your training up to a whole new level. So that's been very cool over the weekend, and so hopefully those that did do boot camp are just enjoying a really nice chilled out week this week. And this week is about pampering yourself, taking the time out, just doing things you love. You're still staying active, don't get me wrong, you're not spending a week on the couch or anything, but you're being active, you're getting outdoors, you're just doing things that you really love, and you're not worrying too much about schedules or programs, and you're just making sure you're eating really good, nourishing food for your body, and just keeping everything happy, and using this time to stay motivated and on track. So enjoy your recovery week if you've done boot camp, and get ready for that new phase of training. So I've just finished filming a workout for this next week, and it's awesome. So I finished off with an awesome 15-minute run after the workout, just around the block to take Ellie out for a burn, and just had some real nourishing, amazing smoothie where I threw lots of vegetables into it, some berries, some cacao, and chia seeds, some what else is in there? I'm using pea protein powder at the moment. I can't have whey, or can't have a lot of protein powders I'm quite allergic to and react quite badly to. Even rice, brown rice protein powder is a bit rough on my digestive system, so I'm settling on pea protein powder at the moment. And I don't have this every day. It's just one of those things that sometimes after a workout, all I actually feel like is a really good smoothie, and that's when I'll throw in my protein powder into that, or I might just throw in some raw eggs, as long as they're good quality eggs, just to get some extra protein, because that's really important, especially if you've done some heavy weights in your workout. You want to make sure you're getting some real good protein to help that body recover and build that lean muscle that you're after. So that's my smoothie that I've just had, and I've just got my glass of homemade kombucha just right here beside me, so sipping away on that. And last week we had our fermenting and gut health workshop, and it was incredible. Both nights were sold out, and it was just such a really awesome group of people that had come along to learn about health and learn about gut health and fermenting foods, and it was so great to meet everybody. And so it was a privilege to be able to talk at that, so thanks Kim Renshaw for asking me, and it was awesome to meet Kim as well, because what she's creating is a very cool concept, and I can't wait to be involved with some more. And you guys show your support if you are in the areas and coming along to them, because she's just creating this group and network for people to get involved with, to meet like-minded people who are interested in being healthy, and she's just running like monthly clubs where she gets speakers in to talk about different categories. So I was in there to talk about gut health and fermenting foods, and it was really cool. And so that video is inside the online gym, the complete workshop. So it was like an hour 5, the whole workshop. And so we filmed the entire thing, and that's in the online gym. But you can also check out on foreverfit.tv a summary of the workshop. Karen Flowerday took some primo photos, and I've written a post just displaying all those awesome photos, and also a snippet preview of the evening as well. So make sure you check that out. I've been really, really missing doing recipes. I love getting my recipe hat on, but sometimes there might be weeks that just roll past and I don't get any cooking happening, well, creative cooking. Of course I'm cooking each day, but I love it when I am able just to get creative in the kitchen and get the camera out and just play around with food and taking photos. It's quite a thing that I love to do on a day where I'm like chilling out. It's quite often something I do on a Sunday, and on Sunday I did that, and so much fun. I just I've got this goal to create a cookbook, and so just trying slowly but surely to improve my photography skills and improve my recipes. And so I've got about 3 new recipes for you on foreverfit.tv this week. So one's a really yummy kale, apple and cucumber salad, which was delicious. And then I did a whole lot of fermenting, because I'm on a fermenting mission. And the thing with this fermenting is I get these massive jars, and it's the best thing to do on the weekend is you make up a big batch of fermented like leeks and cabbage, and you put it in the fridge, and you've basically got your vegetables sorted for the week. So I order the organic vegetables, like spray-free, chemical-free, from Mount Whole Foods, and that's been delivered to my door, which I'm loving. And so then I just have an hour or so where I just prepare all of that, and so I'm just chopping it up, fermenting it, or just crushing it and putting it into jars, and then I might leave it out. I might just put it in the fridge, and then it's vegetables for the week. And it's super, super fast, and it makes all your meals for the week ahead just so easy. So check out my post on that. It's you'll see these big, beautiful jars that I've got, and one recipe I did was all with like leeks and cabbage and carrots, and the other one was like red cabbage. So there's just really beautiful colours, and each meal that I've been having since has just been a fantastic meal, because I've just made this really yummy fermented vegetables. And the other recipe that I did was a celery and coconut dip, and I've been having this alongside my meals as well, and it's super yummy, and it's all like raw, just been blended up in the food processor, and it's delicious as well. So 3 brand new recipes on the website. Check them out. Real amazing, good quality food for you, and I'm hoping to get my cooking hat on again this week, so watch out for some more recipes. So this week what I wanted to talk to you about was I'm having quite a few people getting in touch about what functional diagnostic nutrition is and what exactly it entails. Do they need it? What is it about? And so I thought I'd explain my whole journey and what led me to functional diagnostic nutrition and what exactly it is. And so I have had skin problems now for, I probably got them the first time maybe, 2005. I used to get just a rash around my face, and I've always had that sort of problem. I've always had sort of energy highs and lows where I'd just crash. Like I'd go fine for quite a long time, and then I'd just completely crash. And then I just had different hormonal problems as well that I was dealing with, and so kind of just tried all sorts of different methods and went to different specialists and hunted out different people and used Dr. Google to try and find different ways of fixing my skin. And my skin rash was this perioral dermatitis, which I've done a few posts on, and that was basically the thing that made me wake up and made me fix my problems, because you might have little fiddly little things that are going on, like you might get tired or you might have just other little things happening, but when you have a rash on your face it kind of makes you go, okay, let's sort this out. And so that's when I started to look into different, like I basically searched hard out on different ways to fix perioral dermatitis, and what it led me to is like digestive health and making sure that you are fixing your gut health. And so on that path I started fixing my gut health, and I went on a very low inflammatory diet, and I followed a paleo anti-inflammatory diet, and I also looked into the GAPS diet and SCD lifestyle diet. And I did all those different things, combined them all together, and I managed to bring down some of the inflammation on my face. But I still had, I had it all around my chin, and I managed to, it cleared up within a few months of doing that, and all that, it didn't get worse. But then I just still had it sort of niggling around my nose, and my energy wasn't getting better. And so this is when I started to look even further and find out a bit more. And I had a friend, Dave Chain, who I've interviewed on this podcast before, and he'd done functional diagnostic nutrition. And I asked him about it. And that's where I decided that I'd get him to do some testing on me. And that's where we discovered that I had, so I did 3 testings. I did the BioHealth 205, did the BioHealth 101, and I did the BioHealth 304, which I'll explain what they are. And basically what that discovered is that I had a really severe leaky gut. My gut had pretty much shrunk down, and my mucosal lining inside my gut had kind of just wasn't even doing what it should be doing. And also so what that was doing for me was basically creating a whole lot of stress. So anytime I was eating foods, I was putting it was causing inflammation. Sometimes even good foods was causing inflammation, because my mucosal lining had basically almost been stripped right down. And because inside your gut you have all these microvilli, and when they get damaged over time, and they can get damaged from stress, they can get damaged from the wrong foods, they can get damaged from alcohol, they can get damaged from environmental toxins, all sorts of things can cause them to get damaged. And mine have basically been really quite severely shut down. And so that test also then showed that I had bacterial overgrowth, I had candida, I wasn't breaking down proteins properly, and all my hormones were all over the show. If I hadn't have got those tests, I know that I had like some candida because it was the rash on my face, and I knew that I had hormonal imbalances, and I also knew that my energy wasn't right. So if I hadn't have got those tests, I would have taken something for the candida, I would have taken something for the hormone imbalances, I would have taken a different, somebody might have given me a hormone supplement, or somebody might have given me an energy supplement. But the thing to understand, every single one of those symptoms was linked to my gut function. Because my gut wasn't working properly, it was creating a stress response in my body. That stress response was then making all of my other hormones get out of balance, and so that hormonal balance was then affecting everything else, from my energy through to my skin problems and everything else. So without getting that test, I wasn't able to get to the actual root cause of why I was having all these symptoms. And so for pretty much 7 years, I was chasing a different symptom, and I was going around and I was looking at different things to fix my body. And I knew that I ate healthy, like I am just so strict when it comes to my food, and I knew that I was eating good quality food, but I was just going round and round in circles because I couldn't fix what was going wrong with my body. And I was this healthy person, but I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the energy that I should have. Being a personal trainer and motivating people, I should have this bounce in my step, and I should have this energy, but I didn't, and I had a rash on my face, and I wasn't the healthy person that I should be, and that I felt that I should be, because I was healthy in what I was eating, and I was healthy in what I was doing. I was exercising, I was doing everything right, but I wasn't getting that healthy body to reflect it. And so the thing is that for most people, 80% of the time your diet can fix imbalances, but then sometimes 20% of the time you need the support of supplements to bring things back into balance. So this is why there's always a path that I get people on. I always get them to get their food right, start to find out what food's working for them, get their diet really clean and nourishing, get their exercise right, get their lifestyle balance right. Do that for a good 6 months, 3 months, do that, and get everything in balance, because not 80% of the time that'll work for 80% of the population. So it's just making sure that you do that first. But then sometimes, if you're in a situation like myself, you do need the support of some supplements to bring your body back into balance, so that then your diet can work for itself. Because sometimes we eat... The thing to understand is that our food has changed, our soil has changed, and the food we're eating today is completely different to the food that we were eating a long time ago. So we're not getting as much nutrients into our body. We're also surrounded by a whole lot of different environmental toxins, which is affecting our absorption of those foods. We've also got different stress lives, we've got different light exposure, we're getting different quality sleep, we've got different lifestyle balances. What your mother ate affects your gut flora. We've got different medicines and antibiotics and painkillers. All these things are affecting how well you're absorbing your nutrients and how well you're absorbing your food. So no matter how much, so you can put all this focus into your diet, but then sometimes you might need the support of supplements. And I am all for real food and making sure you're eating real food and you're trying to make real food work for you. But there might be a time where you need, 6 months to 18 months of supplemental support that's specific to you to bring yourself back into balance so that the real food can work for you. And so this is where I've kind of been down that path, and that I went, I've been eating real food, amazing food for a long time, but it just wasn't working and my energy wasn't picking up, and I just wasn't, because my leaky gut was happening there. I was eating all this amazing good quality food, but my gut was damaged, so I wasn't able to digest and absorb that food. And it's really important to know that you're only as healthy as you're able to digest and assimilate the food that you eat. So no matter how many supplements you throw into your body and how many nutrients and multivitamins you throw in, if your gut isn't working properly, you're not going to be able to absorb and digest those foods. And so that's what this testing discovered, is that I could have taken something like a pill for energy. I could have taken a pill for my hormones. I could have taken a pill for my skin problems. I could have taken all these different pills, but none of it was fixing the root problem. And so this testing meant that I wasn't guessing anymore, and I wasn't just chasing symptoms around and around and around. I was getting to the root issue, and then I was able to get specific supplements that fixed that underlying issue, and that was able to then put all my focus into that, because that one area was throwing everything else out. And so when I corrected my digestive system and I corrected my hormonal balance, I was able to bring everything else back into balance, and that's when I started to get that real health that I knew that I should have, and I knew that I so much wanted. So it was through the actual testing that I did at that time that found me the answers. And so this is what led me to getting the qualification myself and going down that path and learning more about it. So that's where last year I studied functional diagnostic nutrition, and I have now finished that, so I'm fully qualified, and that's where I'm helping others go on the same path that I've been on. So if you've done the food, you've tried the food, and you've tried everything else, and you're sick of guessing, this is where that functional diagnostic nutrition comes in, where we get to the underlying cause. So what I thought I'd start with just explaining what the different tests are. And we all know what like adrenal fatigue is something that's constantly always out there, and it's important to understand that our hormones are involved with so much of our body, and we need to make sure that we've got optimal levels of cortisol, DHA, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, and melatonin. And all of these things are going to affect your body shape. They're going to affect your ability to burn body fat, going to affect your sleep quality, your libido, your energy, and the ability for you to be able to train and get fit. If these hormones are out of balance, all of these things get affected, and all of these hormones are affected by the quality of your gut health. See, we need to make sure that we've got a really good quality steroid hormone balance. And as soon as our hormones get out of balance, and this can be through gut function, not being able to dissolve foods, eating wrong foods, eating foods that are inflammatory foods, all of these things then can cause your other hormones to get out of balance. Because then what happens is your body, if you constantly be exposed to stress, your body is going to want to keep producing cortisol, but there's only so much cortisol that your body can keep producing. And over time, what happens is your body then starts to steal cortisol from your pregnenolone, like a pregnenolone steal pathway, and that then starts to affect your progesterone, your estrogen, and all your other hormones. And not only does your cortisol get affected, so too, if your cortisol is up at the wrong time, melatonin can't be produced, and then melatonin affects the quality of your sleep, and so everything just gets jumbled up, and you just, no wonder your body's exhausted. So there's different signs and symptoms that your adrenals can be broken, and that you want to bring some attention to them. So the first test that you do is your BioHealth 205, and this is the best test for you to do. Like, it's the best bang for your buck. You're getting everything that's, like, you're getting a really good overview of what's going on in your body, and it gives you a really good clear picture at what stage of adrenal exhaustion you're in. And the thing to understand is that your body just doesn't get fatigued just because. Adrenal fatigue is something, is like a symptom of an underlying malfunction that's going on. And you want to make sure that you address what that underlying function is. And this is what this test does. It starts to give us a window as to what's going on in the body, and starts to open doors of where we need to look to next. And so this BioHealth adrenal test is saliva tests, and it measures the cortisol levels at 4 different times throughout the day, and this gives us a really good indication of your body's circadian rhythm. And it also measures your DHEA, progesterone, estradiol, estriol, testosterone, and melatonin. And with all of these measures, we're able to identify the different hormonal dynamics that are going on in the body, any cortisol dysregulation that's happening, what stage of adrenal fatigue you might be in at the moment, how, like your circadian rhythm that's happening in your body. It can identify and point a direction to some specific malfunctions in your body. It can start to find some hidden stresses. And so this is why this is such a fantastic test to start with, because it can be expensive doing a whole lot of tests. And so there is one that you want to really start with. This is the first one. And so cortisol levels, when they're elevated or when they're depleted, they're like a window to internal or external stresses. They're starting to tell us a picture about what's going on in your body and explaining why you might be feeling the way you're feeling. And when the body's stressed, whether it is internal or external, or environmental, emotional, food-related or digestive-related, doesn't matter where the stress is coming from. If the body's increasing cortisol, this is going to increase the autonomic response of the body and preparing to defend itself. So this is where cortisol levels go up. And if cortisol levels are going up over an extended amount of time, this negatively impacts the entire body. So our body is like a system of systems, and if one area is affected, so too are other areas in your body. This is why I look at a body as a whole holistic body. We're looking at everything just to make sure that we understand and we get you healthy inside and out. So this is why it's really important for you to get to the root cause of an issue and not just chase symptoms that are going around and around the body. Otherwise you just end up going round and round in circles and spending a whole lot of money on supplements that are treating symptoms, and your symptoms will always be there if you don't treat the actual issue at the bottom of it. So if cortisol's elevated, it becomes way harder to slow down and to rest, recover and repair, because the rest and repair and recover happens when you sleep. And so when hormonal balances get messed up, sleep gets disturbed, immunity gets compromised. So this is where you're going to always get sick, colds and flus. Bone mass can be decreased, malabsorption, malnourishment, and your body just starts to struggle. And it also starts to struggle in the liver as well, because there's constant stress and it's unable to detoxify properly. So without getting to that root cause, your body will never be able to get the energy that you want. So when you actually take the BioHealth 205, you take the saliva test and you do these 4 times throughout your day. And this gives us a window as to how your hormones are going. And so the hormones that we measure are your cortisol, DHEA, progesterone, estriol, estradiol, testosterone, and melatonin. And these hormones are really important because they start to give us an understanding into blood sugar regulation, electrolyte balance, calcium dynamics, genes transport, fluid retention, anti-inflammatory and digestion of macronutrients. They start to giving us much more information of what's going on in the body. The first 2 hormones have a really huge impact on each other, so cortisol and DHEA. In general, if you have excess cortisol, it usually is a stimulatory or a catabolic kind of thing, and this deficiency of cortisol usually results in the slowing of the body, so slowing of your energy. So cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. It is produced naturally and it has an ideal production cycle throughout the day and in a healthy body. So when you wake in the morning, cortisol is ideally elevated compared to the rest of the day, and this hormone is involved with making you feel awake. And when cortisol is low, you generally feel really tired. So for example, when you wake up in the morning, if you've got a good hormonal balance happening, when the sun comes into your bedroom in the morning, this naturally produces cortisol, and this is what naturally awakens you. And as the day goes on, as the sun goes down, cortisol goes down, and then melatonin comes up. It is produced in the adrenal cortex, so this is the adrenal cortex of the adrenal glands, and it's involved in all sorts of different physiological processes of the body. And if cortisol levels are out, it affects a huge amount of different physiological functions in the body. So chronic stress and the association of elevated cortisol levels is going to negatively impact the steroid hormone pathways, and this then leads to that pregnenolone steal, which is where pregnenolone is continually shunted over to produce progesterone and cortisol. When this happens, the body is in a process of adrenal fatigue, and cortisol levels are then elevated at odd times throughout the day, and this gives us an indication of like an internal stress that's going on. So by getting your testing done, you're going to get results for the different cortisol levels, and this is going to give us an insight to what's going on in the body, and so then we start the process of bringing your finding out why your cortisol levels are all out of balance, and then bringing those cortisol levels back into balance to bring your hormones back, so stop that pregnenolone steal happening, bring everything back into balance to be able to find that energy that you're after. The next hormone that it measures is DHEA, and this is a measure as a precursor to testosterone and the estrogens in your body. If your DHEA levels are low, it can lead to an imbalance of your sex hormones, and again a sign of adrenal function. So DHEA, if it's low, is going to affect heaps of other physiological functions in your body, such as growth and repair. And when you have too much demand on cortisol for prolonged times, DHEA levels decline. And when DHEA is then no longer able to balance the negative effects of cortisol, and so this is where DHEA gets depressed and is a really good warning sign of adrenal exhaustion. So this is where this test tells us the exact amounts of this. The next thing that it measures is estradiol, which is the next hormone, and this is dominant, is a dominant female hormone and is a primary estrogen. It plays an important part in both men and women as a hormone modulator, a fertility enhancer, sleep cycle maintenance, and fat metabolism. The levels of this hormone is related to, and how it relates to each other is really important. So estradiol is made in the ovaries or the testes, and also small amounts in the adrenal cortex. So if there are signs and symptoms of adrenal fatigue, there's also going to be effects seen on the production of this hormone. The other one is estriol, and estriol is another estrogen. However, it's not as strong. It's derived from estradiol and estrone, and the levels in this give us an idea of how well your steroid hormone pathways are working together. Progesterone is the next hormone, and this is produced from pregnenolone and is the key hormone in the pathway to cortisol from pregnenolone. Testosterone is the dominant male hormone, and this plays an important part in women. And men, obviously. It gives you a good indication of like libido, sex function, muscle and bone strength, tissue integrity, mood, energy, vitality, and general feeling of well-being. And then we've got melatonin. So this is the last hormone measured, and it's produced in the pineal gland and in the gut, and it helps regulate sleep and wake cycles. So the levels of melatonin are going to give us a really good indication of the sleep cycle disruption, circadian rhythm, and gut function. So all of these hormones get measured in this first one test, the BioHealth 205. And just by getting the answers to this, you're starting to get a huge window into how well the body is working. So there's different signs and symptoms that your adrenals can be broken or fatigued. And so the first one is that you've just got no vitality in your step. You're just feeling pretty exhausted and shattered, and you're not really motivated to do too many things. Like another thing is that just your energy throughout your day, you struggle to get out of bed, or you struggle in the early afternoon and you're just feeling really flat, or you might have a hard time falling asleep. Another one is that you're getting a really big carb and sugar cravings, that you're constantly just searching out for carbs, because cortisol's effect on carbohydrate and fatty acid metabolism, and that low cortisol usually means that you have low energy, and so eating is often something that relieves that energy, and this is what leads to weight gain when you've got these hormonal imbalances. The other thing as well is you get like disrupted sleep. If your cortisol is imbalanced throughout the day, you're going to have disrupted energy throughout your day, and then you might get spikes in the middle of the night. The other thing that this test can also pinpoint is whether or not you've got any parasite or fungus infections, because if your cortisol is high in the evening, parasites and fungus actually, they come alive when we go to sleep, and so if your cortisol is high in the evening, it can be associated with an infection like a pathogen or H. pylori or any other sort of parasite that's happening in the body. And so this is why this test can sort of start to pinpoint directions for us to head towards. The other thing that it can do is it also can affect muscle gain or muscle recovery as well, because if cortisol is high and DHEA and testosterone are affected, these are your long-term muscle building hormones, and if these aren't working properly, you're going to have a really hard time not only recovering from your workout but also building lean muscle in your body as well. You're going to find that you're really fatigued, and if you aren't getting that good quality sleep because your cortisol's up in the evening and your melatonin's not coming up in the evening as well, you're not going to get that deep quality sleep, because your body physically repairs itself between 10 and 2 a.m, psychologically repairs itself between 2 and 6 a.m. So if you're not getting that deep quality sleep between 10 and 2 a.m. because your cortisol's all out of balance, or you might have parasites or infections, or you've got the wrong foods happening in your body, then you're going to slow the results that you're getting from your training. The other thing that you might be getting is injuries, and you might be getting a lot of them. And so cortisol is a hormone that is designed to help you recover from like breakdown injuries. So it also helps with inflammation, and if you aren't getting that recovery in the evening, you're going to reduce your ability to be able to recover and repair from the injury that you've got. The other thing as well is that any stress, whether it's coming from digestive stress or from too much training or from environmental toxins or the food that you're eating, is going to affect your digestion. And so if you're eating the foods that aren't right for you, you're going to be constantly getting this spike of cortisol every time you eat foods. And so from this testing, we can work out at what if there is a food intolerance happening because of the different spikes that we might see, or the pattern of your different hormones. And so this just gives us a really good understanding of exactly what's happening in your body. And so just from this one test, you can get a huge understanding of what's going on in your body, and then you can start to work out exactly what supplements you're needing and where we head to next. So you might then need another test after that to work out, have we got some gut dysfunction happening, which I'll talk about in the next episode. And then we can then you might need to look at whether or not you've got some, like how well your liver's working and how well you're breaking down proteins and carbohydrates. And so I'll go into that in more detail in the next episode. But the thing to understand is that your adrenals and your steroid hormone balance affect everything. So they affect your mood, they affect your brain function, they affect your metabolism of food, they affect your recovery and repair, they affect your hormone balance, they affect so many different things. So it's really important that you start with bringing your steroid hormone balance back in track, and you get to the root cause of why they might be out of balance. And so this is what the testing does, that we discover what's happening with your steroid hormone balance, what's happening with your adrenals, your cortisol levels, and all those different hormones. What's it telling us about your body? Then what can you do with your food and your diet to bring this back into balance? And so this is why I work with you, and we do everything from, we find out exactly what you're eating, you're sleeping, you're exercising, how well you're digesting foods, get you on a really good quality diet so that you're removing inflammatory foods, and just start to get everything in balance so that we can bring all these things back on track And then you might need those supplements to help that as well. So some specific ones to help with your adrenals or to help with your gut function, just depending on your results. And so the reason this is so powerful is because I've used Dr. Google, and I've been around all the different, as many people as I could find at the time, and tried to get advice. And it wasn't until I got the testing, like the black and white facts, that I was able to really understand exactly what was going on in my body. And it meant that I saved money in the long run. It might be, it costs money to get the testing and then the supplements, but you could spend 15 years chasing symptoms and just going round and round and feeling average, and who knows how much you spend time doing that. Or you could spend a really specific, targeted approach to your health and get your body back on track and just find that perfect blueprint diet for yourself. And when you do it smartly through facts, then you're able then to move on. Then you're able to, catch up with the other 80% of people who are using real food to find real energy and health and vitality. So like I said, a lot of the time food is enough, but then for some of us we need to bring ourselves back into balance so that we can get the most out of our food. But our food has changed, our diet has changed, our stress levels have changed, what we're absorbing from our food has changed. So this is where supplements do come in, and they are incredible. But they're incredible when you get the right ones and the ones that are specific to you, so that you're able to get the results that you're after. Because there is so many supplements out there, and it can be so confusing to know which ones are right. And you can end up spending so much money on them, like so much money, and it can be frustrating. So these tests just are like a window of opportunity just to really understand what's going on with your body. So that's a big trying to get it, just so you know all about what FDN is all about. So that's just the first test, the BioHealth 205 Adrenal Exhaustion Profile, and just giving you a really good understanding of that. And the cool thing about it as well is that no matter where in the world you are, you can do it, because how it works is that, say you get in touch with me and you say that I want to find out what's going on with my body, I want to do these testings. I then say, awesome, send you a whole lot of questionnaires to fill out so then I can get a really good picture of what's going on with your body and advise you on the right test to do. You might just want to start with this one test. So this is all done on email. Then I get the test kits sent to your house. So they come from America. They turn up to your house and you then do them. So the 205 is just a saliva test. You do them in your comfort of your own living room. Then you send them back to BioHealth in the States. You pay for the shipping, and you then pay BioHealth to do your lab tests. So each of the lab tests have different results, and the prices are on my site. So there's two different prices that you pay. One is to BioHealth for the lab testings, and then once I get the results, they come to my email. I then get in touch and I say, hi Mary, awesome, got your results, let's make a time to catch up. And then you and I catch up over Skype, and I set you up with a 90-day nutrition and lifestyle and exercise program, along with the supplements that I suggest you take. Now, I'm not somebody to say you have to go buy 10, 20 supplements and spend a fortune on them. I'm going to tell you the minimum amount, the one supplement that's going to be the most effective, and then I'll give you choices of which supplements. From there, you could add to the layer if you want. So if you want to just go full noise and buy all of them, and that's awesome, I'll give you the list of all of them, but I'll also tell you the minimum one that's going to be the most effective as well. So it's something that you can take in stages and layers, and you can build on it, but it's giving you just a really clear direction of what to do with your body and where to head to. And so that's kind of the whole process, is that it can be done no matter where in the world you are, and I just help you personally just get to the root cause of exactly what's happening with your body and help steer you in the right direction. And then you've got the whole support of the online gym. I'm doing different videos on how to do liver cleanses, coffee enemas, explaining the whole steroid hormone balance. We've got all the recipes, we've got everything there just to help support you and give you all the information that you need so that you can bring everything back into balance. And I'm just helping you, no matter where in your world, through that process, so it's nice and easy and not too daunting. and just explaining whether or not you need to do coffee enemas or liver flushes, or whether or not you need to be trying other things that out in the cyberwebs and what's right. So I explain and I tell you exactly what to do, and then with all the support to back that up. So it's a very cool process, and I doing it with quite a few clients now, and it's awesome. It's just such an eye-opening experience, and just explaining exactly what's going on in the body, and just giving you a clear direction of where you're heading to with your health, instead of just going round and round in circles. So it absolutely changed my world, and like I said, I spent maybe 8 years going round and round in circles, just one symptom will pop up here, another symptom here, and another one here, and I just go see a different person for each thing, and they'd all have a different method. Some of them were incredible, and some people end up spending lots of money on supplements, and I just got frustrated because I was a healthy person, but I just kept getting all these symptoms, and just kept going around. So this was able to give me a plan of attack and just a clear place to head to. So it's quite empowering when you really get to know what's going on in your body and what you need to be doing, and so then you just don't sort of guess, and you're on a path, and it's awesome. And so my skin is a million times better. I've still got a slight little thing that comes up when I'm stressed, and if I don't get enough sleep or I've had a really stressful week, that's when it might flare up. But I fully know I'm on the right path, and so I'm not worried about it, because I know what's caused it to flare up. Because my gut function was so shut down, it could take me 2 years for it to fully heal again. Somebody, it might take 6 months, 4 months. Somebody could turn it around quite quick, but I'm getting testing on myself every year, and I know how much I'm improving and what's actually happening, and I'm bringing all my hormones back into balance, and it's really, really cool. So anytime I do sort of have a stressful time, or I might do too much of something and gotten a bit exhausted, I might get a slight flare up, but I know why, and I know what's caused it, and I can turn that around pretty quickly if I need to. And it's just quite cool that I really know what's happening in my body. And so I have pretty much very rarely have any rash on my face. If I do, it might just be almost like a threat. It comes up around my nose, and then it's gone the next day, and because I've sorted things out and I'm back on track. So, and everything else is awesome. Like energy is awesome again, and all my hormones are back in balance, and things are all normal again, which is really cool. So it's cool when you have that kind of clear path. So that's why I've gotten into it, and that's why I'm just loving being able to help other people do the same. So if you are interested in it, just get in touch. But I'll do a couple more episodes just explaining a bit more about it, so that you do know what this whole FDN is, functional diagnostic nutrition, and how it works. And like I said, the testing can be expensive, but you can just do one test at a time, and just that one test can give you an eye-opening experience of what's going on in your body. Because sometimes we might think, I might just try this approach here and see how this works, or I might try this, and then you give up after 3 months because you're like, didn't notice any difference. But when you have the hard facts, black and white results on paper, you then start to understand more about what's going on in your body, and you start to make wiser decisions about what is right for you, because you're educated and you're informed, and you just know more information. Because what we don't know, and so if you are just sort of dabbling in things and just trying different things, then you can just go round and round in circles. So I'm about loading you up with facts so that you can make really informed decisions and wise choices on yourself. So that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that and you got something out of that. You can't underestimate the power of food, and you can't underestimate the power of good quality sleep and de-stressing in your life, and just getting your life in balance. And that's what I'm all about, just making sure that you are achieving real health inside and out. And I'm on a goal to find extraordinary health myself, and I want to teach you how to do that along the way. So have a fantastic week, and for those boot campers, enjoy your recovery week this week, and we will get into another 5-week phase of training come next week, which I can't wait for. And I've also got lots of new Because of my fermenting mission at the moment, I've got lots of new webinars in the online gym as well. So one's all about how to make kombucha. So I've filmed a video just taking you through how to exactly make kombucha, how to make sauerkraut, how to make kimchi, and other fermented vegetables. And I'm going to be bringing you some more webinars really soon as well. So just some videos to make life easy for you and just to learn some really cool skills of the power of good quality food and how simple it is. So have a fantastic week, and I will see you really soon for your next episode. The materials and content in this podcast are there to educate and to inform. It is no substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services. Instead, I encourage you to discuss your options with your healthcare provider who knows your condition and your health history. Guests who speak on this podcast express their own opinions, experience, and conclusions. Nicola Riley encourages you to make your own